On this episode, we're heading back to Wailulu Bar and Grill, check into the all-new Stella Nova Resort, enjoy Mardi Gras at Universal Orlando Resort, and try out-of-this-world food at Space 220. This is part 1. Today's February 18th, 2025, and this is episode 747 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts. Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I'm your host, Jeremy Stein, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey guys! Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic, and on TikTok at MSM Podcast.
If you want to be part of the community and join the conversation, in addition to live streams from the parks and our weekly live show, head to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic community and ask to join.
And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday.
Planning a trip to Disneyland or Walt Disney World can be overwhelming and at times just downright frustrating. But don't worry, because Mouse Dining removes the frustration of booking Disney dining reservations, alerting you when they spot availability for your desired restaurant, date, meal, and time. Visit msmfriends.com to use this free service. Want to get a free Disney e-gift card up to $250? Book a qualifying Walt Disney World or Disneyland room or package through our preferred travel partner, MEI Travel, and get a Disney e-gift card valued up to $250. This offer is valid for bookings made between January 2nd and February 28th, 2025 for travel check-in dates through August 31st, 2025. Certain restrictions apply. Visit mainstmagic.com/travel for a fee-free, no-obligation quote today.
So we have a lot to go over and talk about today with Mardi Gras, and we stayed at the new Stella Nova over at Universal.
Yeah, we had a very spacey weekend because we also last minute dined at Space 220 at the bar area and lounge area. What we're going to do, because we kind of started the insanity, I think, last weekend because we have a lot of stuff coming up, including the next 2 Thursdays that we will be gone. So we're gonna record our whole weekend today, and then in post-production, I'll just work some magic and cut it into 2 episodes so you get the whole thing this week. So that's what we're gonna do. But yeah, we're gonna talk all about Universal, a little bit about Disney. Do you want to start with what I think people are probably most interested to hear is the new Stella Nova Resort over there near Epic Universe. Mm-hmm. I guess what was our original plan? Like this, because the whole weekend changed a little bit. Mm-hmm. But what was our original plan? Why were we even staying at Stella Nova? Because remember, we're not annual pass holders anymore at Universal.
Correct.
We hadn't been really in a year.
Right.
So
actually, our amazing travel advisor, Amy, with MEI, found this for us, and it was only $112 a night.
Yeah.
Very, very inexpensive. And unfortunately, everything at Disney, even with pass holders, Florida resident, whatever you can try to get discounts on, this was still cheaper. So we were like, well, let's work and answer the age-old question, is it worth staying at Universal for cheaper resorts and then driving to Disney every time, whether you rent a car, whether you have your own. Maybe we should get that part out of the way.
We can get that out of the way
because
it's not.
It's not.
Yeah,
it's not.
Yeah, and we've done this the reverse way. I mean, when we did go to Universal back in August for the Orlando Informer, mm-hmm. but we were like not really counting that almost as a regular trip because it was just so like fast paced. Like we didn't even stop for a second. It was at night. It was a special event. But then we were staying on Disney property. We drove to Universal one of the nights. We drove back. So we've done it both ways. And I feel like for a while, and especially now when we're going to talk about something like Stella Nova and the new Terra Nova that's going to be coming right next to it, the sister hotel, even the Helios Grand that's going to open there inside basically of Epic Universe, it can often be a lot cheaper to stay over on Universal property. Mm-hmm. And I feel like for a while, everybody was saying, or a lot of people were thinking, Universal is going to steal away All these people going to Disney because even if they're going to go to the parks at Disney, they're going to stay at Universal. It's so much cheaper. The hotels are better, this and that. It is cheaper, and I think their hotels, are amazing. But boy, is it not worth swapping one or the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm glad we actually ended up going to Universal and park hopping and doing Mardi Gras.
Right.
I think if we would have stayed there the whole time and still gone to Disney, like we did go to Disney on the first day after we stopped by to check in and then went to Disney and then came back. And I mean, honestly, thinking of driving the next morning too was so nice that we were going to Universal.
Yeah.
Because then we just had to get on a bus.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's, and there's a lot of people I know that will maybe split a visit and they're going to drive, they're at Disney, they're going to drive to Universal for a day and then come back to that one. Or maybe they're at Universal and that's where they're spending their time, but they want to go over and do a day at Disney. They'll drive back. That makes sense. You don't maybe you don't want to break up that stay and then have to get a resort over at Disney or vice versa, whatever it is. So, but actually thinking in this instance for us, we were looking at about $112 a night. For Stella Nova compared to what was going to come out to probably $160, $165 or so over at Disney for 2 nights. And you thought, okay, that's a pretty good savings. I get if you're staying for a week where you might think, I want to stay over at Universal for, a lot less and drive all the way to Disney, and back every day. You're going to be miserable.
Yeah.
That time is money.
Yes, that's true.
Frustration, stress, getting on I-4 is worth something too.
Yeah.
So I think that's where you don't want to just look at the cost savings. Now, before we dive into all the things we did really enjoy about Stella Nova, let's just get the one part out of the way and what it does to that $112 a night room rate. And what is that? They
have a parking fee. And are y'all ready for this? This is supposed to be a value, right?
Yeah.
$30 a night.
It's
not
insane.
Total, a night.
Yeah.
So that just made our $112 room.
Yeah. $142.
Yeah.
Just like that.
And so we were like, oh.
And here's the thing is, when we checked in, I mean, the rates are great because there's not a lot of people staying here right now.
Correct.
Michael, who checked us in, was a wonderful team member, was basically like, what floor do you want? You can pretty much pick your room. He said, what floor do you want? And we were like, something high. He's like, well, how about 7? There's only 9 floors. We said, that sounds great. And he said, and I'll give you an Epic view.
Yeah.
So we also then technically got upgraded, I guess, to a view of Epic Universe on that side. So, and there's not a lot of cars in the parking lot.
No.
That just blew my mind. First of all, I think at least maybe right now where you're letting people pretty much pick their room because you're not at any sort of capacity, maybe you lay off of that for a little bit.
Yeah.
And with Epic not open, I understand that you can't always maybe have free parking in a situation like that where then maybe people are going to come try and park there. They're going to walk right across the street to Epic Universe. It's just that turned me off immediately.
Yeah. That was crazy.
That was first. That was probably the worst part of the whole stay in the place, really, right?
Yeah, probably.
So let's talk first impressions. Yeah. Talk first impressions of pulling up. We're now going on the other side of I-4, down past the endless summer resorts of Dockside and Surfside, over near the Orange County Convention Center is Epic Universe, the Helios, which is right in there overlooking Epic, and then you're going to have, of course, Stella Nova here now and the Terra Nova. Mm-hmm. What was it like? Do you feel driving into all that?
It was very... there's not a lot of stuff around. You kind of go through a section where there's Publix and Chipotle and there's some other neat things there, but then all of a sudden it's almost to me I felt very almost desert area almost.
It's a lot of land.
It is.
Yeah.
And all the palm trees were beautiful. And then there's just so much construction still going on, but pulling up, it was really pretty. It reminded me of a cruise ship and a mermaid mashed together.
Yeah.
Very pretty.
Yeah, those tiles on the outside are gorgeous.
Yeah.
I mean, and when the sun and stuff's beating off of them during the day, at night, there are some lights and all throughout to give it a little bit of a space kind of look.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's amazing. First of all, there's a huge, beautiful entrance to basically this Epic Universe, which is going to include the hotels.
Yeah.
So I do think it feels very on its own. It feels very universal.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I just noticed being back at Universal and really, swapping between Disney and Universal this trip is they just both have their own feel in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I
even
agree.
just driving down the street where you don't at that moment see anything that brands Universal, it feels like Universal property for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to look to your right and see an entire new theme park like being built and coming together.
Yeah, it is really crazy. It was really neat. I really enjoyed that too.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing to like, see the stuff online and see the commercials on the Super Bowl, or, I see on Twitter all the time what the BioReconstruct, account that he does these incredible photos and all from the helicopter and sky looking down in there. But there's nothing like when you actually are driving past it.
Yeah.
And pulling into the Stella Nova.
Mm-hmm.
Lobby, walking in, we got a huge spinny door. Yeah, the spinning doors. But it's one of those where you can like fit like a family inside of it. You know what I mean? They're the huge ones. So those ones I don't mind as much.
They do have the side doors if anybody's like, I hate those.
Yeah.
I'm always scared I'm going to get stuck. So they have those, which is really nice. Yeah, walking in, it's I mean, the more I got to thinking about it too, like it's kind of plain, but I mean, when you're in space and you go up, whether you go up in a, like as an astronaut or up there, I mean, it is plain. It is.
Yeah.
So I think it fit.
It does fit. It's got
nice white.
It's a lot of white. It is a lot of sleek lines. You know what I mean? Like, there's things to break it up. So when you first come in, the store is immediately to the right, which is a small doorway, and it's kind of hidden. And then there's another exit door on the other side, but it's not that open, I guess, kind of store
like
that I'm used to. I don't care for that.
Okay.
The lobby area, when this gets busy, the way that Endless Summer, Dockside and Surfside get busy, that we've been there, this is going to be a huge design flaw. There is no space to have basically a queue, which they didn't have right now because there's not a ton of people here.
Right.
To have a queue with the roped off the way that there is over at Dockside and Surfside, which really has its own full check-in area. This is like the check-in area is smack dab in the middle of the lobby as you come in. And so I think there's going to be a huge issue when that happens. There's a lot of common seating area, very futuristic, modern, I guess. Like the furniture looks like if there was an IKEA on the moon. You know, that you had to outfit your home on the moon is kind of what it looks like. Where it is, it's sleek. It's
I'll agree with that.
The
chairs.
Yeah, there's lounge areas. There's like ovals and circle architecture that's breaking up the lobby slightly from space to space.
There's a little Nova bar.
Yeah, Nova Bar on the other side of that.
Yeah.
Then to your left is the Cosmos Market, the cafe, and you walk out the back to the pool. There's these giant windows that are going floor, above lobby ceiling for the most part, but they're all covered by those hanging blinds. Like when you buy a house or rent a place and you have a slider door, the hanging blinds I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There's no, if you've lived in a place for 1 week that has those, I guarantee one of them is broken and fallen off, right?
Yeah.
They make the loudest noise when you open them with that chain.
Yeah.
They will get stuck all the time, and those things flip back. That's basically what these were.
Yeah.
And I saw one laying on the floor because these things are like 20 feet tall, these individual blinds.
That's funny.
And I just find that one interesting because when you open those doors to go out to the pool area, if the wind's whipping through, those things are going to be blowing everywhere. So I think that'll be
some
interesting.
of them were.
There's some space elements in the sense of, I think, the neon lighting for the signage. There are some little space kind of murals that are throughout some of these areas. But most of the ceiling, as you walk in from the outside in, it's black. And then it fades kind of into a white. And the rest of the ceilings are white, which I thought was an odd choice. I just think if you made that with lighting, you know what I mean? Like that, and make it dark. Make it almost like I always think of Paris Hotel out at Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're indoors, you feel like you're outdoors. They could have made this, I think, where it felt like you were maybe in a space station looking out above at the stars.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like it.
Yeah.
It's very sleek. It's very modern.
Yes, it is.
Tell me if you agree, prefer, because I think it's most comparable, the feel and the theming of a dockside inn or surfside inn. Do you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Just the beachy feel, the comfortable feel, the space that I think those allow in the lobby area that this doesn't. Like, I did go down one morning and sit in one of those futuristic looking chairs, which is okay, but it doesn't feel like a comfortable space to hang out in.
Okay.
And I will say this now. I think the hotel's great, and we're going to go through some other stuff. I think it's worth staying if you're going to Epic Universe. If Disney opened this exact same hotel, it would get destroyed online by everybody saying that Disney has no imagination. They're not coming up with any stories or, proper theming, that this looks like a Hilton. Like, that's what we would hear from everyone.
Yes, we would.
Agreed?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is sad.
It is. Yeah.
Which is real sad.
Let's talk about the location of it. How do you feel about the location here and the transportation? Because obviously you have buses.
Yes, thank God. Because the way the detours and all the stuff goes right now, I would not be wanting to stay here and drive to one of the parks.
No, I would not want to have my own vehicle or a rental car at all.
So transportation, buses, every time I feel like I looked, there was one there.
Yeah.
Which was great.
Every time we have ever done Universal, I've been blown away by their bus transportation. Yep. I know it is a fraction the size of Disney World, but their buses are on point all the time. If there are crowds waiting for buses, give it 5 to 10 minutes because a bus will pick them up and another one or two will always be right behind it.
Yes.
I was continued to be impressed here with the bus service.
I agree. So, Friday morning, Valentine's Day, I woke up way too early.
Oh my goodness, you did.
I did not. I guess because we went to bed early. So we got back from Disney on Thursday. Like, we went to Disney Springs and hung out, and then after that we went back, and it was early. And so it was hysterical because at one point Jeremy was like, "What time is it?" And I was like, "Oh my God."
I said, "What time is it? Like 9:30, 10?"
Is that what you said?
Yeah,
I couldn't remember.
What time? 9:30, 10? You said
7:50. It wasn't even 8:00, and I just died. And we had a great evening. But we went to bed early, and my body, when I get enough rest, is like, "Okay, you're done." So I actually shockingly woke up at 5:09, thinking it was 6:09. Then laid there for a little bit longer. My body was like done because I was just laying there. I wasn't tired.
Yeah, welcome to my life every morning.
I was like, what time is the alarm going off? And at this point, I still think I see 6 something. And then the next thing I know, Jeremy's, we really look at the right time, and it was 5 something. And I was like, oh my goodness. But we went ahead and got up, and we haven't ridden Hagrid's in a very long time. So we went to go rope drop. So,
and you get early entry at these resorts, which was an hour early, opening at 8 at Islands of Adventure for today. And basically the Wizarding World is what is open.
Right.
So if you want to ride Hagrid's, this is a chance to ride Hagrid's 100%. Without waiting 2 hours, which it will be from 9 a.m. on for the most part.
Yes. So I look, and what was great is where our room was, I can look out my window and there was a bus down there. So we went down and got on the bus, and pretty soon after we got on the bus, 10-15 minutes, right? We were heading to Universal and City Walk. There was no really cars on the road that morning because it was so early, and we were leaving around
like
7-ish.
Yeah, a little after 7 at this point. Yeah.
Took us 17 minutes to get there.
Which is not bad at all.
It's not.
Really.
Jeremy went ahead and did it, and then did his, time stopwatch thing. And 17 minutes, we can, you're staying at All-Star, and you go to Magic Kingdom. Depending on traffic, could possibly give or take that time as well.
Could. And in that case, if you were actually driving, you're taking 17 minutes to get to TTC. Yeah. And then having to go, ferry boat, monorail after you do a tram and all that kind of good stuff. So I actually, it feels further away.
Because it is.
Well, it feels further away than 17 minutes on a bus. We'll say that.
Okay.
But also to Rhonda's point, at this time, there were not a lot of cars on the road. Luckily, you do not have to get on I-4. And currently, the buses do have some dedicated lanes that are not open to regular traffic.
Correct.
For a pretty substantial start of the trip. Almost to the point we're getting up to basically the endless summer resorts. You know, so that was going, right? And that was at not a lot of traffic. And we have this dedicated area for a little bit for buses only.
Yep.
What about getting back from the park that evening around... What was that, closer to 9?
Yeah.
Parade was 7.
Right.
We got out of there.
Because we went and rode Spider-Man.
We were probably 8:30, 9 o'clock, right? Somewhere around there.
So. Yeah. Yep. And we, again, got there. Bus was there. Wasn't many people. But then it was funny because a whole bunch of people came. So I guess everybody was leaving the parks.
Yeah.
And now this bus was full. And I'm saying tons of standing people. And unfortunately, it took us 26 minutes to get back to our resort. Now, that's 26 minutes of Jeremy timing it as we were driving. Yeah. I mean, people were standing up a little bit before we left.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you talk about the time you got on the bus. And I'm not going to count that time because that could be a minute if you're the last one on the bus. It can be 10 or 15 if you're the first one, which we pretty much were.
Right. But we were sitting, so that was fine.
Yes.
But, you know, I mean, thank God once everybody was standing, it probably was a minute or two. But you're still talking a little like almost 30 minutes. And that's
becomes a good chunk, especially at the end of the night.
Especially standing all the above. Mm-hmm.
This, and we said this, you know, obviously Epic Universe is not open yet. And if it was, we weren't going this weekend. We're going to hopefully try and make it there one day this year. We'll see. But if Epic Universe is in your plans, and I think it's kind of a majority of your plans, then yeah, these are perfect for that. If you 100%. Are not doing Epic at all and you want to save money, it's going to cost maybe $10 more a night. If that, it might even be cheaper. Go to the Endless Summer Resorts as far as location.
I agree.
You know, or obviously then a Cabana Bay and Aventura, those get a little bit more expensive, but I would not stay here the way we did to go to City Walk Studios or Islands of Adventure.
Mm-hmm. And Disney.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Or Disney for sure. Because then that's the other thing. It is that much further from Disney because you're that much further off of I-4.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you were going to stay at a Universal hotel and go to Disney, I would still pick the Endless Summers, which are a pretty quick hop on I-4 and are going to be on that lower price if you're trying to save money. All right, let's talk about the rooms. There are 750 rooms here.
Okay.
Right? We'll get 750 more at Terra Nova when it opens.
Cool.
So that's a good chunk of rooms.
Mm-hmm.
There are 315 square foot each. They are all the exact same aside from ADA rooms and such. And there's only option is 2 queen beds.
Mm-hmm.
There's no other option. So you can't go for a king or anything like that. There's no family suites the way that there are over at Endless Summer, which I think is really too bad.
I agree. I'm actually kind of surprised at this because are we going to obviously start talking about inside the room?
Yeah, talk about the room. Talk about the layout of the room and our thoughts on there.
So it's neat. But like when you first walk in, there's a giant closet that it's the front, like as you will, a foyer. Yeah. Like it is really tight trying for me and Jeremy to get in and like try to hold the door and let him pass me. It was just, it's like one person can go in after another. Like
it is a big, I mean, I will say it's a very nice, large wardrobe.
Yes, it is.
Area.
Yes, it is.
You can fit a lot in,
mm-hmm.
but it is a bit obtrusive in that area when you first walk in.
And then your sink and bathroom is very similar to Endless Summer.
Yes.
Like you have the sink, the mirror, and then you have a door and the toilet and the bath and the shower and stuff.
Very similar to the Endless Summer layouts in their regular studios, I guess you'd call them.
Right. It does have a glass, like, what would you call that?
Tinted.
Tinted partition?
Glass.
No.
Yeah, partition.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a partition.
And then there's a hangy curtain on it that's like, I guess, blackout.
Mm-hmm.
Which is weird because it only goes as far as the glass does. It doesn't go all the way. So if somebody is getting ready,
because you have the big open doorway area to walk into the main, living and sleeping space. It was, I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Like I just didn't understand that part. Like I think if you had made that a slider that you could close it off.
Yeah.
The way that you can the family suites over at Cabana Bay would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Or like if you just made that curtain close the whole thing off. I get the design element of the glass
cool.
partition.
That's
It fits very well. It's very
cool.
Yeah, got a slight tint to it. It's a little bit spacey, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it would be nice because one of the other issues is that, and maybe there's a way to turn off the sensor.
Oh.
It is sensored lights in the main toilet
Yes.
room with the shower tub combo. So in the middle of the night, like when I had to get up and go to the bathroom, first of all, when you walk in there, it is jarring. When it is pitch black in your room,
And
all of a sudden,
on.
boom, hello, Jeremy.
Yep.
Time to pee. Like it is a lot to take in. So
You're like,
I would,
oh God, and you're trying to
so
hit
first
it.
it blinds me. So I would immediately, you could hit it and shut it off.
Right.
But I'm thinking, then that's the other people sleeping in there. There's no partition. So that part was a little bit weird, but.
But and then you of course have your two queens, standard refrigerator, coffee, and then it looks like there's a whole couch, and then some drawers are sitting on top of the couch.
Yeah, it looks that way. It's
and
not.
then it's not. But then a small table for the couch. Couch is fine. It's you can't sit and watch TV because the TV is on the opposite wall.
That's on the same wall.
Or on the same wall.
Yeah, so beds facing TV,
Correct.
and then on that same wall as the TV is this little couch area.
Yeah.
Which is great with a little table for two people to sit and eat at.
Yes, it is. Because we did.
But this is I thought the beds were very comfy.
I did too. And
thought
the
the pillows
were
were
really
great.
good. Yes.
Yes,
Yes, that was good.
An alarm clock with a wireless charging station and all that was not working for us.
Yeah, I don't know
We checked
why.
behind, it was plugged in. There was no point in us just messing with it.
Right. Or calling about it.
Yeah, or calling about it. This is one of those rooms when you come into that area with you having the couch and the table, which again, we love that extra space and all, and where the beds and everything. It's one of those that looks really, really good, but the actual functionality of it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Only to eat.
Yeah, it's just to eat, or if you had people visiting, then you don't have to have a bunch of people sitting on beds.
Right.
Which again is great. And when you really think about it, a lot of those rooms don't have, I'm even thinking of ones real quick at Disney where you do have a table and two chairs. They're still on a corner on the same side of the TV.
That's true.
None of them are made to sit and lounge and watch TV.
Right.
They don't want you doing that. They're not going to make the most comfortable space for you to sit in your room all day.
Right.
I would hope that you wouldn't, but that was always people's defense to them not offering Disney Plus for free. Is they don't want you sitting in the room watching Disney Plus all day.
Well, what if people get sick and then they have to
Right,
stay?
but I'm thinking, who is doing that?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to wake up in the morning and be like, hey, you guys ready to go to Magic Kingdom? No, I just found out I can put on Homebound or whatever. Like, what?
Homeward Bound?
Yeah, Homeward Bound.
I'm like,
I can put on
Homebound?
Homeward Bound. Yeah, I'd rather
Okay.
stay here than go to the Magic Kingdom. I can watch every Marvel movie. Cool. I'm going to do that instead of going to
Right.
you
That
know,
is not,
Hollywood
right,
Studios.
That's not going to happen.
But yeah.
But I
really enjoyed the room. I
Yeah.
did like the room. Minor flaws here and there. Every room's going to have them.
Oh, and I will say that's what I was going to say. Because I did when we did a live on Main Street Magic Community. So if it was me and Jeremy and Kaylin and Talon, we don't allow them to sleep in the same bed. So we would bring an air mattress and a single air mattress. And unfortunately, there would have been really no room.
There'd be no way. I don't think there's any floor area space that would be enough to fit a single air mattress. Only possibly if you move that whole table, maybe it would have fit on the floor between that one bed and the couch, but it would have been tight.
I don't know. It was.
And that couch, definitely, I wouldn't ask an 18-year-old man who's the size of me to sleep on it.
Or even Kaylin,
Or even
to be
Kaylin.
honest.
It would be very,
Yes.
it's not sleep worthy. So
Right. So I just want to put that out there,
Yeah.
Especially if, like.
Because we've done it in Endless Summer.
We have.
We did it at Hard Rock. They were able
Right.
to bring in the rollaway bed that
Yep.
actually fit. So, depending on the family dynamic.
Correct.
I know that you could have 4 people.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean that there is the proper space for those 4 to sleep. In
Correct.
that sense. Same thing with the girls. That's why, we would opt for the 2-bedroom they called over at Endless Summer. So the girls don't have to share a bed.
Correct.
Because they just flat out don't want to.
Right.
So, all right. We mentioned downstairs we got the souvenirs shop in there. It is got all the stuff for Epic Universe.
Yes,
It's got
does.
general Epic Universe gear. It has all the lands gear. I gotta be honest, some of that Epic Universe gear is tough, as the children would say.
Yes,
Right?
it is.
They got some good stuff.
They
I wanted
do.
to get some,
Yeah.
but I'm like, there's no point in you buying Universal gear, let alone Epic Universe gear right now. But
Right.
there's some good stuff.
Yeah.
And the Monsters gear is amazing for
Yeah.
Dark Universe. And Monsters Unleashed, I think they even had some for the ride there, if I remember. You got your Nintendo stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Did they have the Isle of Burke Dragon stuff in that store? I know they had the Ministry of Magic stuff for Harry Potter.
I saw Toothless. I saw.
We did see in there. So they did have stuff for Isle of Burke. So they had stuff for every land in there.
Yeah.
Super Nintendo and all that.
Yep.
So the shop was good. I just thought it was weird it wasn't an open kind of shop because that's part of your marketing and your sales, man. You know, this was so hidden.
Yeah.
The other ones, like a lot of them you walk by, they've got big display windows in some of the
Right.
other resorts. Like you really want to go in there. But
I mean, you walk by and you look in,
Yeah.
so you know that's the store.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like.
it just wasn't very attracting to me.
Okay.
We've got a complimentary fitness center, like all the resorts do, and you've got a game area. You can go purchase game cards. Our girls have used those all the time at Disney. They've used them before at Universal. They are really great to have at these places. Talk about the pool area. We will get into some of the drinks and food and stuff, but outside pool area, there's a 10,000 square foot pool. There's a kid's splash pad. There's games out there. There's a hot tub.
A very large one.
Very, very large hot tub.
We
didn't get in, but
tempted.
we brought our bathing suits. We've been doing the trips lately that are like go, go, go. Like we've been
I do feel
really
like that.
going hard and getting stuff done. So our nights are a little bit more restful than they used to be, we'll just say. But what do you think about that whole pool area? There's got to be more lounge chairs there than any one hotel has ever had in the history of hotels.
And I don't know if it's just because there wasn't a lot of people, but then
Maybe.
at the same time, if there's a lot of people,
Yeah.
and
Holy
filling those
moly.
chairs,
It went.
holy
They
crap.
just row after row after row after row. Like it was
But
crazy.
It was nice
It was.
because there was a lot.
Yeah.
And two, a lot of umbrellas. A lot.
Ton of umbrellas.
Which is great, again.
Yep.
And then plenty of pool games.
Yeah.
And I say pool games, like
We saw cornhole
Jenga,
out there, right?
we saw
Yep.
cornhole, we saw Connect, a
Yep.
couple of Connect Fours. So not just like one.
Yeah.
So multiple people can play.
Didn't we see ping pong out there?
Yeah, yep. Because
Tables out there.
Yep.
There's a little beachy kind of almost area. Then there's this huge open bar restaurant area with some lounge seating plus a very large bar area that opens up into all of this. It has a very same vibe as your dockside and your surf sides over there. It's a very simple pool.
Yes,
there are
it
no
is.
thrills. There's nothing crazy about it.
Nope.
But it's going to fit a lot of people. And again, I think the seating here is just tons and tons of
Yeah.
it. So I did like that part. And I think it's super cool. It's got a hot tub.
Yeah.
After a long day in the parks, I was tempted to go just dip our legs in there, but we were either eating or just resting or something else.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the food here. And we're going to start off with the Cosmos Cafe and Market. This is going to serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They have burgers, paninis. You got fried chicken, pasta. For breakfast, you've got breakfast sandwiches like burrito wraps. They've got French toast.
And this is the
big
same
breakfast
place
pizza.
that does not have the Starbucks.
Yes,
Correct.
and then connected to it that opens earlier at 6 a.m. is more of like the cafe market. I guess you'd call it cafe market portion that has proudly serving Starbucks, but not an actual Starbucks. And then they've got some grab-and-go breakfast stuff, grab-and-go lunch and dinner sandwiches, beer and wine there that you can pick up. I think some pre-mixed cocktails in cans, sodas, waters, cookies, muffins, croissants, some different things like
Ice
that.
cream.
Ice cream. We did get ice cream.
You did.
The second time that day because we did have salt and straw earlier. Proudly serving Starbucks, so you don't get all the fun options like when you do stay at many of the other Universal resorts.
Yeah.
Portofino, I believe, doesn't have one, and Hard Rock does not have one. They're proudly serving Starbucks as well, but you got your coffee in the
Yeah, I
morning.
did. It was good.
still good,
It was
right? They
good.
still had some
Yep.
options.
They did.
And then next door to that, basically, is the food court, which is different than all the other food courts. And I know we keep referring to Endless Summer, but this is endless summer in space, basically. I mean,
Right.
it is, you know?
Yeah.
Same kind of resort, pretty much. This is a walk-up register, look at menu, order,
Yep.
get a buzzer,
Yep.
wait, pick up your food all at once. There's plenty of areas to sit down and eat. I don't like it. It's like a fast casual restaurant. I like the food courts with the different stations and the different bays, and you can kind of see the food. And,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't like the setup.
Yeah.
I really don't. What do
Well,
you think? You don't care probably as I do, but
I don't care as much as you do, but I will say this cafeteria section is tiny.
oh yeah, there's not a lot of space for 750 rooms.
Holy crap, no.
Yeah, they're not expecting people to be eating there. Like think
No.
of Havana Bay, dude.
That's what I was thinking of the other ones, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, even Disney, this is tiny. There are 2 freestyle machines because you can get the cup there, of course, and it says Stella Nova. It's really cool.
Yep.
And they're serving on real stuff,
Yeah.
all kinds of real plates. And
So it doesn't.
silverware.
No, we took it back to our room, but it doesn't give you the impression that that's what you're supposed to do, right?
Right, and a lot of people
the size
did.
of
Yeah.
the area
Yeah.
makes it think we don't want you sitting here.
Yeah.
And when I go back to the whole lobby thing, the same with the store, this is very closed off and around the corner.
Yes, it is.
It's not inviting at all.
But I mean, is it supposed to be?
I think you would. I like the idea of, think about a lot of the other Universal resorts. Think about the Disney resorts, especially at the value level. You walk past that food court going to the buses. You don't have a choice.
Right.
You really don't here. You know, that side that we were going down there. Now you are if you're going down the other way, but the side we're going down there, I don't know. Things felt very separated, I think.
It was.
You know what I mean?
I agree. Yes, they are.
That's what I didn't care for.
But I mean, I don't hate it. I think it's kind of neat that it kind of hidden a little bit.
Yeah,
I think
and it may work that way for some. That's my own personal opinion for that one. All right. What did we get the first night?
So we each got a pizza. A 10-inch individual size. So classic cheese is $13, which is just tomato sauce, mozzarella cheese. And then I got a Biondi. Okay. For $15. So this is ricotta cheese, roasted onions, wild mushrooms, and garlic cream. What'd you think?
Here's what I'll say in the end is if I had time to reflect. This is not a bad pizza. It is not the pizza I wanted. Yeah. And I love the other Universal Resort pizzas.
Yeah.
I really do. I wanted more of, I feel like, a traditional hand-tossed or thinner crust pizza, not heavy on the outside crust. You know what I mean? I just wanted that classic, just cheese pizza. This is a very much thicker crust. It has a lot of crust around the edge. You know what I mean? That is taking up a lot of space. It's almost, to me, it's more similar in style to the pizza that you're getting at the pizza window over at Epcot outside of Via Napoli. Or the crust to me tasted a lot like a Pizza Hut. You know the way their breadsticks are?
Oh, yeah.
That thicker kind of they're light, they're a little bit airy. So that to me is what the whole full crust was like. It was much thicker, but not necessarily deep dish. It was definitely thicker than a hand toss style. It was a very simple sauce and mozzarella. It got the job done, but it wasn't the pizza that I wanted. It was the pizza that I deserved.
Okay. Mine was good. I added actually Italian sausage.
Same crust and all. Same style crust and everything.
I think I don't remember what part was throwing me off. I don't know if it was the garlic cream, but it was throwing me off a little bit, but I think it was in the end, I thought it was really good.
The flavors were excellent in yours. I really loved the flavors. I just wanted it on a different style crust and all. So all in all, just those are the pizza warnings. You know, again, if you're used to the pizza, a lot of the other resort pizza at Universal, and then people are like, well, is it would you compare it to Disney pizza? No, because it looks like a Disney pizza, but that crust is so much, I feel like, lighter and spongier than a Disney pizza, which is much more comparable to a DiGiorno.
Okay.
So there's your pizza warnings.
Okay.
Now, the next night, we got some more food.
You did. I was like, not gonna
Okay,
eat
all
much,
right. Okay.
but
Let's talk
didn't.
about that. Let's talk about that because I decided I was going to order the chicken parmesan sandwich for $15.
I didn't even taste a bite.
Okay. This was crispy chicken breast, fresh mozzarella cheese, tomato sauce on a fresh baguette. This was good. It was great. It's just
With French fries.
Yeah, French fries. It's exactly what it sounds like, and it's good. You know, I mean, whether you went to like an Italian place for lunch, and this is like their $8.99 lunch special or something, you'd be happy with it. Or if you had all this stuff at home, you had like good frozen chicken patties that you went ahead and threw in the air fryer. You had some sauce and cheese. You had a fresh baguette. Like it was just exactly what it needed to be. I enjoyed it.
Okay. Well, good.
Miss Not Hungry, what did you say I should also get?
The Mexican street
Miss,
corn.
I don't want anything at all.
The Mexican street corn. I was like, corn's not bad for you. It's just kind of goes right through you.
I'm so full I couldn't eat another thing, Jeremy. But if you want, why don't you get the Mexican street corn and I'll have a bite.
It's only $7. It's roasted corn, aioli, chili, cilantro, and lime. This is vegetarian and gluten-free. It came in a very large dish, in my opinion.
It was a really big bowl, yeah. It was a good chunk. $7?
$7 for this. I thought it was a really good price.
Very.
And I loved it. Like, it was good.
It's some of my favorite Mexican street corn that I've had. It was.
I'd agree with that.
Absolutely outstanding, delicious. I only got to eat about maybe 2/3 of it because Rhonda ate a third of it. You could
at least I only ate a third.
Dude, if I had turned around and you had eaten the whole thing, I would have been like, no problem. I'll go buy another one for me because it was so.
It was really good.
Yeah. Like that's one. If you could get just a grilled chicken breast or something on the side and chop it up and throw it in there, you'd make a meal out of it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I loved it. Highly recommend.
Yeah,
you
I
get
agree.
this if you were going.
And
there.
if you have some corn chips up in the.
Man,
it'd have been good like that.
If you had some, you had some Tostitos or something in your room to dip in there.
Yep.
But I wouldn't. It's not corn dip, so it's not Three Bridges.
No,
this
but
is
it's
true
still,
like Mexican street corn.
But still,
if somebody put both of them in front of me, I'd eat this over the Three Bridges corn dip with chips.
Blasphemy.
With chips, I really would. It was outstanding. It was perfect. All right, let's go with. I'm not going to say bad because it was fine. Let's go with our second non-alcoholic beverages that we got.
So at the pool bar.
Yeah, so by the pool bar, and we'll start off with this one. First of all, I will say they've got huge beer selections, lots of stuff on tap.
Yeah.
They've got wonderful wine selections, liquor selections. They're coming up with a ton of like handcrafted original style cocktails. Like, let me just look at a couple real quick here. They're Orion. Most of these are like $16. This is Weber Ranch 1902 vodka shaken with mandarin orange syrup, citrus sour juice, and orange juice. You know, kind of like a little take on a screwdriver, really. You have, I don't know, what else we got that sounds good? The Lyra is a Patron Silver tequila shaken with muddled strawberries, citrus sour juice, and guava puree. You got the Leo, that's Bullet Bourbon, shaken with muddled fresh lemon, peach schnapps, citrus sour juice, and peach puree. So again, you have some really interesting takes, and there's a lot more of those too. They've got frozen cocktails out here as well, and then they do have some spirit-free beverages. One of those being a Stellar Smoothie, which you can get banana, mango, pina colada, strawberry, or tropical fruit for $8. I've had one of these over at one of the pool bars at Endless Summer, and they're really good.
Yeah.
What are the other two that we ended up getting there?
So you got a Musca, which is the
Musca, Mickey Mouse.
That's what I was thinking. These were $10. The Liar's Agave Blanco Spirit, non-alcoholic spirit shaken with fresh lime juice, topped with Fever Tree ginger beer. So basically like your mule. And then I got a
I'd say Mojitara. It's a non-alcoholic mojito.
Yeah.
Mojitara, I guess you would say.
So it's the Liar's Light Cane Spirit, non-alcoholic spirit shaken with fresh raspberries, mint, lime juice, and pure cane syrup.
What did you think of these? And I think our impression is going to be based on what we're going to talk about next.
Yeah.
Which is what we actually had first.
Right.
So that's why I wanted to get this one because it wasn't
bad.
No, but I would have never guessed that there was 0 proof spirits in there.
I would have
because they didn't add any flavor. To me, mine tasted like ginger beer with a squeeze of lime, and yours to me tasted like Sprite with a little bit of mint and some crushed raspberries.
Yeah, I'll kind of agree with that. It was still refreshing.
It was.
Good,
They were still
and
fine
I
and
drank it.
refreshing, yeah. You get them in a Stella Nova
Yes.
keepsake cup that you
Yep.
can get cheaper refills if you want to bring them back throughout your stay, the way that they do at other Universal resorts. But very nice poolside refreshing beverage.
Yeah.
What I would personally do if I was going to chill by the pool there with a non-alcoholic beverage, any of their alcoholic beverages sound like very pool-worthy hangout drinks, right?
Yep.
But as far as non-alcoholic, I would go inside and get something from Nova Bar.
Yes.
Now, inside the Nova Bar, this is their lobby bar, they have another entire list of cocktails that are separate from the Galaxy Bar outside.
Yes, they do.
Which is super duper impressive.
Yep.
One of those, for example, includes the Alpha Centauri. This is Hendrick's Gin, Contro, Prosecco, lime juice, topped with a splash of Fever Tree ginger beer. You've got what are some other fun ones? Where was the Supernova is rye whiskey stirred with cherry-infused Campari, Barolo, and tart cherry syrup, served smoked over a large ice cube. So they've got a lot of really good inventive drinks in there. Another one, the Black Hole, is Weber Ranch 1902 vodka, shaken with Patron XO Cafe, cold brewed espresso. So like their espresso martini there. So again, a lot of really cool drinks inside. What we got is their Free Spirited, which is featuring the Liars non-alcoholic spirits.
Yes.
If you remember, Liars is what they're using in the non-alcoholic pina colada over at Wailulu Bar and Grill, which I may have gotten again because I always do. And our friend Jamie had told us the reason it's called Liars, the company, is because lyre is a bird that can mimic basically or mock any other sound.
Yep.
So this is mocking real liquor,
which
is why the company's called Liars. What are the two beverages that they have here? No surprise. I don't think you have to tell people which one you got.
They have an Electra and a Matara. Matar. These are both $12. The Electra is the Liars Coffee Original shaken with espresso, cold brew, cane syrup, and vanilla, served in a beautiful little martini glass. And this was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, it tasted just like the real deal.
It did. It was great.
It really
I enjoyed
was.
it.
And we have like a zero proof coffee liqueur at home. And I mean, again, the stuff tastes like the real deal. It really does. And then mine, the Matar that I got, was the Liars White Cane Spirit, shaken with orgeat, cane syrup, fresh lime, floated with Liars Dark Cane Spirit, served over ice. This reminded me of like just a tropical fruity rum drink. I mean, it literally has the dark fake rum floating on top, and it has the tastes of those liquors. Like when vodka's pretty tasteless.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you drink it straight, then it definitely has a taste to it.
A burning taste.
Yes, it will sting the nostrils. But to me, like a rum-based drink, a tequila-based drink, a gin-based drink, they really do have the flavor of that liquor worked into the drink. And when all you do is serve, as we've said before, let me just do some Sprite with cane syrup, fresh lime, and a little bit of mint or something. It's just not the same as when you have that flavor of the rum, especially the dark floater on top. I thought it was absolutely delicious.
Okay.
I'd probably put it up there with some of the top 5 like zero proof beverages that I've had now between Disney and Universal.
Nice.
Like it would go up in that route. And again, I would get this. I would ask if they can put it into a to-go cup or plastic cup so I could carry this out and sit by the pool.
Yeah.
Is what I would personally do there.
I agree.
All righty. Finally, they do have pizza delivery if you want to get that done to your room, but I probably wouldn't because that's the pizza you're getting. That's the one we talked about. I guess pros, cons. Would you stay here again? What reasoning?
Of course I'd stay here again.
I would too. I really did enjoy it.
Yeah.
I did.
I would stay here again and, probably hope to go to Epic, of course. I would stay here again and go to the parks, just know that it is a longer ride.
Yeah, but I would definitely have a day of Epic worked in, I think.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have that feel. Like I know Endless Summer is a little bit off the beaten path, but to me, this does feel a little separated. Like, that you can't just, like walk out the property. Like once you walk out the property, you're like, okay, we're kind of now in the middle of all this other stuff that isn't Universal. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like at least within the summer, I mean, by the time you get on that bus or you get in your car, you drive over I-4 and you're in the heart of Universal and that whole area. So it has that little separation feel, I guess. Yeah. But I enjoyed it. I would definitely stay here again when doing Epic, or even if it was just, you know what? We just want to get away. We want to go to Orlando for a weekend. Maybe we're going to spend one day going over to the outlets, or we're going to bust the city walk and have lunch or dinner. I would totally do this. And even if you're not doing the parks, just work in that time, you know, that you may have to travel with. So, okay, we're going to move on and we're going to cover Mardi Gras next. Big thank you to Xavier. We really appreciate him from Thrills Taste Travels, buddy of ours. Go to his website, his social medias. He covers so much great stuff with Universal, a lot of stuff outside of Disney. He is a foodie, so he knows his stuff very well. Between he and John Self, those are the two that I usually go to ask about food-related things. So make sure you go check him out. But yeah, thankful to him, we were able to go enjoy Mardi Gras on Friday. So that's what we did. I know you talked about the rope dropping in the morning in the early entry. Do you want to talk about our morning before we hit Mardi Gras?
Sure. Yeah, so we started over to ride Hagrid's, got off Hagrid's, which was wonderful. Then
we waited 33 minutes.
Yes.
By rope dropping.
It was amazing. Then went straight over to Forbidden Journey.
Yep.
Rode that.
Pretty much a walk on.
Yep. And then from there, we rode both of those rides, and we're getting off Forbidden Journey
right around 9 a.m. Or slightly after when the official park was opening.
Correct.
So we knocked out both of those in the early entry. And I mean, again, Hagrid's alone is worth it.
Yes, it is. And then we went to ride Spider-Man. Correct?
Yeah. So we went to ride VelociCoaster.
Oh, first. That's right.
So we went over to VelociCoaster, and as soon as we got in line, it showed 25 minutes. Again, we're right at official park opening, so people are still heading that way. And we got in, and there was a breakdown. They do the announcements, 10, 15-minute delay.
I believe so.
But we waited in line.
Yep.
And we rode it.
We didn't leave. Yep.
Then we went over. You're feeling it a little bit more. I would say VelociCoaster. You can feel it a little bit more than you did when we've ridden in the past. Yep. You know, it's a couple years old now, but that thing's still. You know, I don't know if I still get the same butterflies anymore going up the Tower of Terror. This ride still scares the living everything out of me. Like I am nervous getting up to this ride.
You're funny.
And every time at the end, I just am blown away by how incredible that coaster is.
Well, good.
It's unbelievable. From there,
then we went
I did buy a refillable cup for the day because they have the freestyle machines. They have a large selection of zero or diet and then caffeine-free stuff. So I was getting those, and then I grabbed a pretzel. Kong had a delayed opening. And right as the time we were getting up to it, it was opening. So it was going to be a short wait. But now I had a fistful of pretzel and cheese. So we just decided to head to Amazing Spider-Man.
Yes. And we got into the line for Spider-Man. I think it said something like 20 minutes as well. And, you know, we're just standing there. Kind of might be playing a game. Just Jeremy's working. We're just kind of hanging out. And all of a sudden, people are coming out. And then this one woman was like, it's broken down and they don't know how long it's going to be. And I'm like, oh no. So we looked at each other and we're like, well, let's just go.
So we left.
So we left that one.
We headed up to Hogwarts Express, which was technically a walk-on, but we had never gone through the non-express line, I don't think.
Oh my gosh. That was amazing.
Boy, is that a journey. Talk about forbidden journeys.
Yeah.
I think we left property.
It was funny.
Holy moly, that thing zigzags. Like you walk for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But then we got right on the train.
We got right on the train, which was nice, and then went straight over. And then I wanted to ride Gringotts.
Yep.
So we get in line and
35, I think it was posted at that point.
Might have been.
Yeah, 35 minutes. So we're like,
okay,
let's do it.
So we get into and past the goblins in the bank.
Yep.
And down, I guess, starting to go into the vault.
Yeah, it's heading down the hallway. I think they call it like the processing. It's where they have all the cameras with the green screen walls that you would be getting your photo taken for whatever the processing or your bank account or something.
Right. With all that being said, then it broke down.
It breaks down.
And then it was funny because there was the family behind us, and they were trying to make a decision. She was like, all right, we wait till 11:30, and if no announcement, then we'll leave. And I thought the funniest thing was she's like, all right, you ready? And the other woman with her goes, it's been a minute.
Yeah.
And she goes, yep, it has.
And at that point, we had already been standing 10 or 15 minutes.
Yes,
so,
I do believe so. And then they left, and we were still kind of hanging out because we were going to wait till 11:30.
Yep.
We took up the same thing, but we were actually going to wait till 11:30. Well, honestly, I think this is what made us leave early. They didn't speak English behind us. Kind of just once they left, they just walked right in front, and I was like, hello, I'm standing here. And then I'm like, all right, this is, I think, our cue to go ahead. Because I kind of said something, not very loudly, but, and then again, they were speaking to each other. And I'm like, okay, it's just my cue. Bye-bye. Which was sad because I love Gringotts.
So we walked all the way out of Gringotts.
So we walked out of there, and then
we headed towards Mummy. Which Return of the Mummy, we walked into that, and about 10 minutes in, it broke down.
Yes, but then I was
tired. We had about a 10-minute wait, so we just said, we're going to wait this one out. Yeah.
So
we waited that one out, and we did ride it. We did Fallon. Later, just so we don't forget, I know we mentioned, I think earlier, close of the night, because studio side was closing at 8. Island side was closing at 9. We went back, and we rode Spider-Man, because that is like our ride. From when... the second time we were ever together, correct? At that point. And that was kind of like our ride where we, I don't know, fell in love, I'll say, right? It was perfect on Valentine's.
Saying that.
It's true, though.
I don't think you know.
We did. We fell in love on Spider-Man. We rode it multiple times that evening.
Okay.
And it was when we knew
that
this was forever. We will forever ride Spider-Man together. But we rode it. It's still the best, man. It's just
we
so
love
great.
that.
And I'll say after, it had been probably 2 years since we rode Hagrid's. Right?
Mm-hmm. So good.
Between Disney and Universal, currently what is open, Hagrid's is the best attraction. Overall. I'm just saying overall. All categories included. Throw one at me. Put them all together. The way that Haunted Mansion wins all the time for us when we do like brackets, whether it's song, it's queue, it's story, it's whatever. That is what Hagrid's is. It is the most incredible, amazing ride. And I think second in Universal and Disney is VelociCoaster.
Okay.
It cannot be. I think those are the two best rides between Disney and Universal.
Remember, folks, if you need to email him, his email is
RHONDA.
No,
I really do. It doesn't mean that I want to do them all the time. It does. I still think like Cosmic Rewind is my favorite attraction out of Disney and Universal.
Yeah.
It is my favorite. And if you put almost in front of me, you can ride VelociCoaster or you can ride Cosmic. I'm probably going to pick Cosmic. Even though we've done it so many times now. But I'm trying to go from the sense of you cannot deny that Hagrid's is an incredible feat.
Oh, no, I'm not
of
denying
engineering and ride mechanics and thrill and everything.
Yeah.
And that VelociCoaster probably makes you pee a little bit every time, no matter how many times you ride it.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Okay.
All right. Let's move on to the Mardi Gras stuff.
Yeah, because we did rides. That was fun. And now
we did. We got to
eat.
ride some stuff. We rode Transformers at one point.
Oh,
we
yeah.
did the Bourne Spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
That thing, I think it's only the third time I've seen it. And I think I could see it the 300th time.
Yeah, it's so
and
cool.
still have my jaw on the floor. It is incredible. I told you, I want someone to make a feature-length film using that. Between the screens, the live action, the set pieces, the vehicles, everything.
Yeah.
Imagine an entire movie that is part pre-recorded, part live action, part like, you're doing real stunts right in front. That would be the coolest thing ever. Or even if it was like a 45, 50-minute mini film, which this pretty much is, but it's just so good.
All right, well, that'll wrap it up for this one, but stay tuned because we'll talk about the rest of our trip on the next episode.
If you want to catch the rest of our trip, including Mardi Gras at Universal Orlando, lunch at Wailulu Bar and Grill, and a stop at Space 220's bar, make sure you hit that subscribe button and you get the brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. And if you are ready for that next trip, of course, no matter where you want to go, our trusted partner, MEI Travel, will handle the planning so you can focus on the memories. They offer free vacation planning services and have nearly 20 years of experience creating memorable vacations. Visit mainstmagic.com VelociCoaster.com/travel for a fee-free, no-obligation quote today. And then, of course, as long as you're doing all that, Rhonda and I would be very, very thankful if you could please leave us a rating and review.
Because it helps our show grow.
That's all we've got. We'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.